Hi guys, welcome back to Balls Fan TV, and today we're back with another video doing the match preview for tomorrow's game against Shelbourne at Tolka Park. We make the short trip to Drumcondra after a very good win on Friday night, a late win, a frustrating game in parts, but look, we got the 3 points laid on thanks to a Patrick Hickey header, and we all left very happy, and yeah, just delighted to get out of there with 3 points when it looked like, the game was going to go away from us, and it was going to end up petering out to a fairly disappointing 0-0, but luckily we got the win and made it 5 in a row, and we've got another chance now to keep the momentum going tomorrow evening against Shelbourne in a Dublin derby. So yeah, a great chance to build on a great start. It's been a bit of an up and down start for Shelbourne. They're off the back of a very good win against Derry in the Brandywell, but before that they were 2-0 up against Rovers and drew 2-2, and they were losing to Pats, pulled it back to 2-2, then conceded late to lose the game. So yeah, it's been a bit of an up and down start for them, but look, there's no doubt about it. They're a very good side. Since Joey O'Brien's took charge, I think they've improved from what they were under Duff at times. They've got plenty of options, in their squad, and plenty of players that can cause you problems. But we've actually got a pretty solid record in Tolka Park over the years. They're always quite tight, intense affairs. We've had a few draws and a few wins as well for ourselves, and a couple for them too. But yeah, they're always quite tight and cagey, and I expect it to be the same here. All derbies are like that. But we're the form team in the league at the moment, and look, I know the last couple of games it's probably not been as free flowing as we would have liked, but you're going to have different kind of games as the season goes on. You're going to have to find ways to win in different ways if you want to be up there as title challengers. And the fact that we managed to win the last couple of games in ways that were a little bit scrappy, it doesn't really matter as long as you're getting the wins. And if it's like that again tomorrow evening, then look, so be it. I expect it to be a bit more open, the game. I don't think it's going to be like Friday night, for example. I think, Shells will obviously want to be playing on the front foot, and, they're at home, and, they'll want to be getting at us. But I think there are weaknesses that we can exploit in that Shells team, especially at the back. They've had a couple of injuries back there. Paddy Barrett and Aaron Casey, probably their two main centre-backs, are out injured. So, and from that, they have been conceding goals as well. So, there's something that we can definitely target, especially with the form of Colin Whelan and the goals we've scored this season. So there's something we can get some joy from. But onto the team anyway. I expect a few changes, not many, but you have to rotate Friday, Monday. You're gonna have to use the depth of your squad to your advantage. So I think it'll still be Casper and goal. Back four, look, Todd and Hickey are going to be playing at centre back together. There's no doubt about that. When them two are playing, you're always confident that we're going to be fine, and we're not going to be doing anything stupid back there. Left back potentially could be Jordan Flores. Mullen may end up staying there as well. We don't know. I thought he was fine on Friday. I think at times he was a little bit lost when he got forward, but there's no doubt that defensively I think we're a little bit better maybe when he's there. Right back, Dara Power, I think, will come back in. I thought he was very good off the bench when he came on Friday, so I think he slots straight in. Midfield, you could see McDonald stay there, potentially Flores going back in. There's something we could do just for rotation purposes, but I expect either one of them to be alongside Dawson Devoy, of course. Then moving forward, I think it'll be Connor Parsons. I think he'll keep his place despite the fact that he probably wasn't at his best on Friday. You'll have Rossi in the 10, maybe Harry Vaughan again, maybe Dale Rooney, if he's fit. But potentially you could see, say, Myers or Marcus Stroud, could they be rewarded with a start for their impressive performances off the bench. We'll wait and see. That there's an option there as well. But I think if Dale Rooney is fit and he's ready to play, I think he comes back in. I think that there's no disputing that. And then up front, I think it'll be Colin Whelan. No sign of James Taylor at the minute anyway, and any kind of update on his fitness. So as long as that's the case, then it'll be Colin Whelan up front. If we're going off the early stages of the season so far, you could potentially see a four-way title race all involving the Dublin clubs. That's how the table's shaping up at the minute. Anyway, look, of course it's early days, it could change, but that's how things are at the minute. And I think there's every right to say that team with the best record in the Dublin derbies may go on to win the league, and now's a chance for us to better our record. We've already got one win against Rovers. We drew with Pats in a game that we probably should have won, really. If we take a couple of those chances in the second half, and then with the win tomorrow, we'd obviously extend that bit of a gap we have at the minute. And like we said earlier in the video, I think there's definitely things that we can look at in that Shells team and to say we can absolutely cause them problems there. Their defence hasn't been great. They haven't been keeping clean sheets like they have been in recent years, and the defence is looking shaky. Going forward, we've been scoring. We've got a goal in every game apart from the Pats game, of course. So look, that's something we absolutely have to target. If we can do that, there's every chance we'll pick up our 6th win on the trot. And I am going to predict us to win. Like I said in the Galway preview, I'm not going to go against us when we're on this run of form and the way that we've been able to get results even when we're not at our best, like the last couple of games. So I'm going to go with a 2-1 win. I think there's definitely a couple of goals in here for us. Like we said, talking about how Shells have been pretty poor at the back, and of course they carry a threat going forward. They've got some really good players in those areas, but so do we. If they can all combine here, then hopefully we'll all be absolutely delirious with a 6th win in a row. So yeah, I think it'll be tight, tense, like it always is in these sort of games. That tense and cagey feeling when we play Shells, but I just about fancy us to come out on top. So that's where I'll end it. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment down below your thoughts heading into the game, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.